Somebody once told me that if you do not read, you cannot lead, and I agree with him, because readers are leaders. The best way for you to learn is to read. And once again, I welcome you to Book Affairs, your TV book program, where we do no other thing but talk about books. The last time we came here, we featured a book and we discussed it extensively. Today we are not going to deviate from that tradition. The book we are having before us today is titled Eastill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary. You will get to know more about that as we proceed to the mainstream of this program. Yomi Ogunye is my name, and once again I welcome you to Book Affairs, your TV book program. My guest today is an academic. He is a lecturer. He is Dr. Kayode Fakinlede, the writer of Eastill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary. And sir, you are very much welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Ogwe. I appreciate coming here. I appreciate OSRC for giving me the opportunity.
Now, I want to know more about you.
Okay.
Who is Dr. Kayode Fakinlede?
I am a lecturer. I've worked in the industry. I'm into management. I own a company called Ala Laboratories where I do synthesis. But for the past 40 years or 35 years, I've been busy as my own personal interest in language and sciences, how they combine and how one makes the other one better. I worked at FUTA. I worked there, I taught there for about 10 years. I taught at the University of Ado-Ekiti. And I've taught at other universities in the US, particularly the University of Texas, and recently in Kent University. At the same time, I've worked in the industry. When I started out, I worked in Lever Brothers in Nigeria here, and many other industries in the US. So I've been focused on chemistry, particularly, the sciences, particularly chemistry, for the past 40 years, since I left the university.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive explanation or introduction of yourself. Now, we are talking about Eastill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary.
Yes.
So, what's the book all about?
Okay, it's about the translation. It's not really about translation of English to Yoruba, but translation of making science less esoteric. We don't want science to be something that people see as, oh, I cannot take science because it is science. So in order to do that, we went through this route because the English people have done this before us. So we are translating English to Yoruba, and we've seen that it makes life very easy. When you learn the Yoruba thing, you can make comparisons, you can make allusions in your language, because it's your language. You are born just like a fish in water. You don't teach him how to swim because he already knows how to do that. But when we have to go to English, and in order to do it in Yoruba language, it makes it a bit complex. That is why I took it for the past 30 years to be working in this book and other books, just to translate the English terms to Yoruba, so that it will make more meaning to a Yoruba person than when we go into just learn by English. Many times when students learn in English, they learn by rote. They don't really understand what these things are.
That's true.
Whereas the things may be as common as what they see every day, but if you don't understand it, you think it's something very, very
esoteric to use your word.
Yeah, like when somebody says, it's as white as snow. We just take that as an example. If you have never seen snow before,
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, and they say it's as white as snow. What does that mean? You don't know snow, and you don't know how white. But if somebody says, you've seen egbonwu before.
Yes.
So immediately it sticks in your head that, this thing is as white as that thing there. Because there are many shades of white. And if you say, summer, then you will have an idea again.
Sure.
So that is why it is better many a times to learn in your language. And I've seen that in all developed nations of this world.
That is what they do.
No nation, I'm going to repeat it now, no nation develops without using its language.
All right.
And any nation that deviates from that does not develop.
No nation develops without using its language, so you said, and I agree with you totally on that. Now, we are talking about language, or you are telling us about language and how it is related to the sciences. And what you have written is Institute's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary. Also, the technologies, the terminologies used in technology and science are here. I want you to give me just 2 instances of such terminologies.
Okay,
in science.
We just talked about momentum some minutes ago, when we were together. Okay. And I say ikpakoda. If I say something ikpakoda, you know that it changes its position. If I'm here now and I move, it means multiply ikpakoda. That you can explain that to a small kid. Ikpakoda. Ikpotowa, tele, it's no longer where it is. And when I say eda, it means matter. So you tell a child momentum, he doesn't grasp it. But if I say ikpakoda, he knows that it means that body has changed position. So it's easier for me to even explain to a primary 6 student what I mean by that than to explain to a high school student, even university student, what momentum is. And a friend of mine was we talked about something like entropy. You could teach this to a postgraduate student and he may not understand it. Because my friend said, he's in the same field, he said he did not understand what entropy was until he saw the dictionary. It just means itaru, kekodaru. That is it. But when the Englishman says entropy, you will really have to think.
The person will be lost.
You'll be lost. And I've been in a class where I stood there for hours trying to learn what they were saying. Just because they used a term that I could not understand, and I got lost in that class. And many times you see our older people, many of the things they do are technology involved. But just because they don't call it that word, or because they call it a bigger name, it makes it difficult for them to understand what they are talking about. We are not all that far behind if we can use our own language. And as a matter of fact, I say that we are losing so much of what we knew before, what our parents knew, that they could have passed to us. But since we are not speaking the same language, they speak Yoruba and we are trying to speak English. They don't know the words in English, and we are not ready to accept it in their language. So we lose a lot of, particularly in phytochemicals, in egbogi and ewe, and what do they use these things for? As long as we are not ready to learn them in our language, we will lose all those things. So we keep on losing so many things that we have known already, and we are not gaining because we don't understand the English.
All right, I really appreciate that.
Yes.
Now, I will ask you.
Yes.
Why you have decided to go that far in writing this? What impact do you expect this book to engender on the reader?
Yes, my impact is that all we need to do, because many a times I want science to be demystified. You understand what I mean? I don't want, when a student hears I'm taking calculus, I'm taking trig, I'm taking integral calculus, or I don't want him to have a feeling that he's doing something that is out of the ordinary, that only the white people can do it. I want all those things to be demystified. I want them to see it as things that we normally do. It's just that we don't give them those names. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He says, we talk about water cycle. All it is that water dries up, goes up, condenses, and falls down. But when you start talking about big terms, now they don't understand what you are saying. But all these things we are talking about, I want us to reduce those numbers of years that we are using to learn English, to spend them learning the sciences in a way that makes it very easy. Science is simple, very simple. just take the English terminologies out of it, you will see that most students who are already failing now will not fail. I remember when we were in school, you take 100 students, you tell them to do, and at the end of the day, the reason why they are failing is because of the English. It's not because they don't understand the science.
All right.
So that is why I went into this.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Your book is very big.
Yes.
I would want you to tell us about the chapterization. How many pages,
This book is about 570 pages. And the reason why it's this big is because they have a lot of illustrations in there. I had a previous book, which is even bigger than this, and has more content in it. But it is only when you are looking for something, if I'm looking for a term, that book is interesting. It's not, that book is useful. It's a reference book. I wrote this book as a book that is interesting. Interesting in the sense that when you open it, you will see something in there that interests you and you want to learn more about that thing. That is why I went this route. This is very, very easy on the psyche. It's not something you have to really, you can open a page and say, oh, what is there? Let me learn something about it. But if you see a real dictionary, it's not that. That is why I went this route.
So it has a lot of illustrations.
It has
and as they say, seeing is believing. Yes. That's why you've done.
It has about 1,000 illustrations in it.
All right.
And for those 300 pages, I have of illustrations alone that consists of illustrations. Each page has about 4 or 5 illustrations in it.
Okay. About how many chapters?
The book is divided into 3 main parts. There's the part of it that is illustration, which is more than half of it. And there's the part of it that is words and meanings, just little words that they may need to know if they're going to do sciences. And there's the appendix. The appendix is there so that if people really want to know more about what they just saw in the illustration part, for example, we were learning about body parts, the intestine or the liver, and you really want to know more about it, you can go to the appendix, and then you see, if all you have to do is you just want to flip through, then you don't need the appendix. So it's about 560, 70 pages.
Thank you very much for that. And viewer, you are still watching Book Affairs, your TV book program, where we talk about no other thing but books. My guest, Dr. Kayode Fakinlede, has been telling us quite a lot about his book, Instill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary. He believes that when education is taught in your indigenous language, education becomes easier and the student learns faster. We will be back after this time out. Don't go away. Welcome back. You are still watching Book Affairs, your TV book program, where we talk about books. The book we are reviewing today is titled Instill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary, written by Kayode Fakinlede. He has told us quite a lot. He has a lot more to tell us. And once again, sir, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You told us that no nation develops without making use of its language to educate its students.
Yes.
I totally agree to that. Now, you also told us why you decided to write this book.
Yes.
I want you to tell us, what are the challenges that you encountered in writing
the
this?
challenges, honestly, is the acceptance. You know, we've been taught for a long time that English is the language of science. They've beaten it into our brains and into our psyche. And even when the British people left, our professors and they already believed that. So I always say, there's something in psychology we call Pavlov's dog. The Pavlov's dog says, where you tell the dog to do something, he's doing it. And even when the dog is, when you are no longer there, the dog will keep on doing the same thing anyway. So that's what we are doing right now. So it is tough for our institutions to accept this fact, even though it has been researched beyond doubt And there's no issue about it that the best way to teach your people, your audience, is by using their language. So it's the biggest challenge I have is acceptance. What I mean acceptance is for a change of perception by our institutions, I mean high schools, colleges, and universities. And that arises from the fact that, they believe that it is, first of all, difficult to go this route. That is why I took this thing, and like I said, I've been working at it for 30 years because it's something I believed in, it's something that is researched, it's something that needs no argument. You know, you look at all the countries in this world, there is none that teaches sciences or technology in another person's language, except for us.
In Africa.
In Africa, and Africans generally. When you look at Germany, Asia, China, everything, they try to translate everything to their language. The reason is this. When I speak my language to 100 Yoruba people, all of them will understand what I'm saying. Because I'm speaking my language. We are speaking. But if I speak English to 100 Yoruba people, maybe 30 of them will understand. Because the rest of them will not understand.
All right. We have a tradition on this program.
Yes.
The writer reads a portion of his book.
Okay.
So I would like your audience to have a feel of what you have written.
Okay.
So
thank you.
You will have to read a little out of this for us.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Open to page 159 in this book. The way the page, these are words and meaning. In sciences, we have some words that are universal. Mo, Ami, Orisha. That Mo can also mean Molu, Iwon Avogadro. Molecule. Molecule is called molecule. Molecule. Momentum, Ipapoda Eda. A monkey, Obo, Abi, Edu. Those are the words on this page.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. You have read to us about mole, molecule, momentum, money.
Yes.
You called mole Amiorisha.
Yes.
Why?
That is the universal Yoruba word for a mole. A mole is something, one of these things that develop on the face or part of the body. We always think is, the olden days, after a lot of research, I found out that is what they call it. It is not something that is a universal word for that mole.
All right.
You know what, everybody knows what a mole is. A mole is something that appears maybe on the face or on the body that has been there since one was born.
All right.
Yeah.
What about the other word
Mole.
you mentioned?
That mole is something that is universal in the scientific world, and it is a measurement. As we measure dozen, pair in numbers, science, because things may be so small, we cannot measure it in dozens. So there's something that what Mr. Avogadro coined that is called a mole. But instead of translating it, the whole world already accepts it to be mole. So that is why I just called it mole. Then a molecule, the same reason, derived from the reason why I call that, left that as molecule. If you go to China, Germany, they just leave it as a scientific word that the whole science world already accepts.
So in Yoruba, you just translated it to molecule.
Molecule. Molecule. So that word now will be defined. If I am teaching a school, I will define that. I will define the word molecule. Molecule, because it is a universal language of science.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the publication.
Yes.
When and where did you publish the book?
This book is published by Hastings Publishers, but it's printed here in Nigeria. So we had the book already packaged and it's given to a publisher here. The reason why we did that is because we can't transport the book from the US without costing a lot of money. So we said, okay, let us just package it and bring it here for printing. And they've done quite a good job at printing it here, but it was published in the US. Yes.
Earlier, I asked you what impact you expected the book to engender on the public.
Yes.
Since the publication of the book, what impact has it made any effect?
Yeah, the book,
on the
book has been launched now. I had an interview at BCOS in Oyo State, Ibadan, and the same thing, thankfully, the same way we are going. And the people were really impressed because many people already had the feeling that, well, science cannot be done in our... And immediately they saw it, it just lighted up there, and everybody was saying, yeah, this thing can be achieved. That is, they saw that things can really be done, and it gives them a pride of some sort that, wow, our language can also be used in sciences. It's not something mysterious. So what I'm planning to do now, because of this positive reception we are getting in the launching phase, now we're going to go right ahead to the sales phase, where we're going to make the book available for the public at large.
Thank you very much. As we come to a close on this program,
Yes.
what advice will you give to the public?
Reading is wealth. Reading gives you a better scope of what the life is. And when we are going to do technology, let us make sure that we start teaching our children early enough in our language so that they can start enjoying what technology is about. That is the brief advice I'm going to give. So many things we can do. I've told I said, so just because we don't understand the science, all these things here that we see, we can make them too.
Sure.
We don't have to import everything.
Yes.
We should be able to do them by ourselves.
Thank you
And
very
in order
much.
to do them for ourselves, we have to understand the basis that goes into making these things. And you don't want to wait till you are 12 years. You want to start from the beginning. As you are watching Yoruba programs, there should be people who come on the program too to explain science to us. It's not only entertainment. That's what they do in the US, where I live. And you have people who come on the programs, on television, on the internet, and even in the newspapers to explain sciences to people. And that is, once you start building them in the children, it changes their perspective a lot.
Thank you very much. When you start building good virtues in children, it changes their perspective.
A lot.
And Dr. Kayode Fakinlede, thank you very much for being with us on
Thank you
this
very
show,
much.
sir. And viewer, thank you very much for some time you have been watching and listening to Dr. Kayode Fakinlede, the writer of Eastill's Illustrated English Yoruba Science Dictionary, who has been telling us quite a lot. Among other things, he told us that education becomes faster and easier when we teach the young ones in the indigenous language. He wants us to be using Yoruba language as the medium of instruction in our schools, and that's why he has gone a long way to write this book. It is a science dictionary. Some other time when we come here, we will be talking about another book. This is Book Affairs, your TV book program. Yomi Ogunye is my name. Thank you very much for watching us. Goodbye.